Welcome, girl Lala. I'm an intuitive transformation life coach. Today we're going to be speaking about emotional alchemy in women. Okay, how women can learn how to alchemize your emotions, how to become an alchemist, because we throw this word around, but I don't think we necessarily know what it means. I don't think we really know what it means. It sounds cute, and you know, people use it in terms to make it sound cute, but we're going to be talking about emotional alchemy. So if you want to learn how to alchemize your emotions, I advise you to get your pen, I advise you to get your paper, I advise you to sit down for a little bit, and we're going to get into it. Because this is something that is really, really important to me. This is something that I feel like it should be really important to a lot of women. A lot of women are emotionally suppressed, emotionally stuck. A lot of women are emotionally stuck, emotionally suppressed, and they don't know how to process emotions. And a woman that don't know how to process emotions is a woman that is stuck and emotionally sick. So you will notice a lot of women that are dealing with autoimmune diseases, which it has been found that women that have dealt with, that has autoimmune diseases, have pent up trauma and pent up suffering and pent up emotions that they haven't dealt with. It's only when you decide to process, when you decide to deal with, when you decide to go through, when you decide to open up the Pandora box and deal with the things that has been barring you down, that you just start seeing women go into remission, start seeing women step into their power, step into their sovereignty. When we understand that emotions are not the enemy, when we understand that emotions are not the problem, when we understand that emotions are not the bad thing that people make it seem to be, we will start to look at emotions for the gold that it truly is. So we're going to start this off with emotions are messengers. Your emotions are messengers. And only if we took a little time, only if we took just a few more minutes to really uncover what the emotions is, instead of getting stuck at the emotion that you're feeling, you're at the first stage. Oh, I feel sad. But when you start to really uncover, when you start to really process, when you start to really ask questions, when you start to really remove things, when you start to really dig, you start to find the message that the emotions been trying to tell you. I'm going to sit that with you. We stated that emotions are messengers. And the reason we starting here, because a lot of people want to be an alchemist. They want to alchemize. They want to do this and they want to do that. But they haven't, we skipping steps. How about that? We skipping steps. We have to first understand what we alchemizing before we can alchemize. We have to first understand what we alchemizing before we alchemize. If you don't know what you are alchemizing, you can't just say, oh, I'm alchemizing sadness. If you want to truly, if you are really serious about alchemizing your emotions, right? And you want to truly alchemize your emotions. You want to truly transmute your emotions. And you you know what, Lala, I want to do this. I want you to go to the link in my description. There's a product that I created that's called 6 Stages of Emotional Alchemy. It takes you through 6 stages on how to deal with your emotions, how to sit with your emotions, how to process your emotions. If you're feeling anger, if you're feeling grief, if you're feeling etc. These 6 stages is going to take you through the whole alchemy process. It's an audio transmission. So all you do is put your headphones on and listen to it. You don't have to look at me. You don't have to stand still. You don't have to do any of that. You could be driving. You could be doing anything. Pop it in your ear and listen to it. Because I feel like the day that women learn how to process suppressed emotions, women learn how to be emotionally free. When we learn how to be emotionally free, that is the day that we step into our sovereignty. That is the day that we step into the new world. Let me give you a little bit of information that I received this morning through my intuition. I was told that if women continue to, if we keep suppressing our emotions, if we keep running away from our power, if we keep running away from our leadership, if women continue to run away from leadership, run away from power, run away from your emotions, suppress your emotions, this nation will continue to be sick. Only when women decide to step into our power, our divine place, emotional freedom, sovereignty, that is the day that the new world that people talk about begin. But it can't begin unless women decide as a collective to do our part. Because we are the true leaders. But we can't lead if we are discouraged. We can't lead if we are suppressed. We can't lead if we can't emotionally process the things that we have hidden in us. That is why emotional alchemy is important. Emotional wellness is important. If you're stuck on that emotion, sadness that happened to you years and years ago, and you're not able to uncover, we have a problem, which is why we see the rise in women experiencing autoimmune diseases, because that is pent up emotions, pent up trauma that we're not processing. Remember in the beginning, I said emotions are messengers. And if we treat emotions such as that, we will learn, okay, what is the message in this? It's not to bypass spiritually. I'm not telling you, say, oh, I feel sad. What's the message? No, because the right way to deal with emotions is by feeling. We can't just intellectualize emotions, which people like myself used to do. Oh, I'm dealing with it. I'm figuring it out. But I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't processing it. Just like when you carry a baby, when you're pregnant, the only way to give labor is by processing through labor. You can't just say I'm pregnant and then tomorrow the baby is out. You got to truly go through the labor phases. You got to truly go through the pain. You got to truly really process through. You got to take your time. The baby gonna come when it come. You can't just go, I'm in labor, baby's here. There is a journey. There is a phase. And that's the same thing with emotional alchemy. There is a journey. There is a phase. And if we're not going through the journey, if we're not going through the phase, then what are we doing? The most important thing in your emotional alchemy, emotional wellness journey is understanding that it's not just a mind thing and it's not just a body thing. You have to connect both, because you have to be able to feel through your body. Damn, I feel sadness is in my heart. I feel it in my heart. It's heavy. My heart is heavy. You have to be able to feel your emotions in your body, while also learning how to understand your emotions. So we got to put two and two together. If women continue to be emotionally suppressed, we will continue to have a nation that is sick. Because we are the rightful owners. We are the rightful leaders. We, women, are the rightful leaders, the rightful owners. And we can't take ownership, we can't take power, we can't take leadership if we don't even know how to master ourselves. One part of self-mastery is learning how to alchemize and transmute your emotions. That's one of the most important steps, because then you could never get tricked out your spot. You can never get tricked out of your emotional intelligence when you learn how to alchemize your emotions. Emotional intelligence, to me, in other words, in a spiritual term, is emotional alchemy. For me, it's not about just being intellect with your emotions. It's not about just being intelligent with your emotions. It's about learning how to truly alchemize and transmute that into something, into gold, into information, into insight, into messages. So that when that process come again, because most times when we feel emotions, it's because we are triggered. Something triggered us. Something triggered something in us, which is why it's important to ask questions. Because we live a life full of triggers. We wake up and we go to sleep. A life full of triggers that is controlling our every move, our every say, our every thought. If we're going to continue to live a life that is full of triggers, that our triggers control us like puppets. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. If you're going to continue to live a life that is controlled by your triggers and your traumas, that's a life of suffering. And I'm going to tell you because I've seen it. I see it every day. You are controlled by your triggers. You are controlled by your trauma. You are controlled by your pain. You are controlled by your suffering. You are controlled by people because they know what things to pull, what tactics to pull on you. And every single time, because you don't know yourself, every single time, because you haven't mastered yourself, every single time, because you haven't really got in tune with yourself, you fall for the trick. Believe it or not, your lack of emotional intelligence, believe it or not, your emotional suppression is like a domino effect, and you wonder why you feel numb. You wonder why you feel tremendously angry. You wonder why it feels like you disconnected, because you are living a life full of trauma, full of triggers, and you're not taking a moment to sit with yourself, which is the most important thing and sometimes the most hardest thing to do. But let me tell you something. We can't outrun ourselves. That's the most beautiful thing. You can't outrun you. You can try. You can live a life of running, and I have seen that close by, front seats. I have seen someone run and run and run and run. You can try, but then that is a life worth of suffering. Suffering. Emotional suppression is suffering. Emotional ignorance is suffering. Emotional abandonment is suffering. When we understand that, we have to stay true to who we are. We have to stay true to what we experience. We have to stay true to the journey of alchemizing and transmuting our own emotions, because we're the ones in control of ourselves. You are in control of you, not me, not that person, not that person. The only reason someone else would be in control of you is because you rightfully gave away your power. You gave the key away to open up the door, which is what a lot of us do. We give away the keys. We give away the code to the door. We give away the entry. And people come in and cause havoc and chaos in your own home, because you don't know who you are. You don't know whose you are. You don't know how to master self. Emotional alchemy is a process of self-mastery. When we learn how to process, when we learn how to sit with, and I'm going to continue to say this, when we learn how to master self, we step into the archetype of an alchemist. An alchemist to me is a person that can take something. You can take something that is not of use. You can take something that was meant to do you harm. You can take something that was no good, and you can truly take it and turn it and transmute it for your good. When you alchemize your own emotions, when you learn how to sit with the grief and learn how to hold yourself, learn how to hold you through the process, you step into a different level of loyalty and trust within you. See, this is a bigger journey than just alchemizing. This is all about self-mastery, learning how to trust oneself, learning how to be loyal to you, learning how to show up for you, learning how to make space for you, learning how to be the person that you need other people to be for you, to be for yourself. This is deeper than just, oh, I want to make this into gold. I want to make this pretty. Because sometimes emotions are not pretty. Sometimes you got snot booger nose you got snot coming out your nose, you got tears running down, you can't stop crying, you hyperventilating, you going through the process. Sometimes it's not cute. But I don't want you to learn how what you already have done. I don't want you to continue to abandon yourself, which is what we do. We do a lot of self-abandonment because of what we're experiencing is not pretty. What we're experiencing is too big, too much. But we be the first person to step in when someone else is experiencing something that's too big, it's too much. Self-abandonment is a part of the problem. Abandoning yourself when you're feeling something that may not be what you would want to feel. Self-mastery is a different type of journey, and I don't speak in it as in a gaslighting way. When you learn how to master yourself, nothing or no one can get in the way of what you desire and who you are. You step into true enlightenment. That is enlightenment. Learning how to master you. That is true enlightenment. Learning how to master your emotions. That is true enlightenment. Learning how to process your emotions. That is true enlightenment. If you continue to suppress your emotions, we will continue to have a nation that is sick, because women are the true leaders. We are the true owners. And we can't lead nobody if we can't lead ourselves. We can't lead no nation if we can't lead our own self. You can't even lead your family if you can't lead yourself. We practice a lot of self-abandonment, and we wonder why we feel lonely. We wonder why people don't show up for us. We wonder why people abandon us, because we the first example. When shit get too big, when shit get too rough, when you crying too much, when you feel anger, you the first person to dip on you. Learning how to alchemize your emotions is going to help you learn how to master the most important thing, which is yourself. If you want to learn how to step into leadership in your life, how to step into your divine power, how to step into your sovereignty, how to step into your wellness, you have to first learn that you can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the light without the dark. When you learn how to truly hold yourself, even when it's the most uncomfortable. When you learn how to truly understand that your emotions is not the enemy, but they're the messengers. When you truly learn that your emotions is showing you where it hurts, showing you why it hurts, showing you when it happened, you can take that information, you can transmute and alchemize that information so you become better and well. A lot of us are internally sick. emotionally sick, which turn into spiritually sick. A lot of us are. And we wonder why we got headaches every day. We wonder why we snap and we crash out. We wonder why the first thing they say, we going places. Because we are true puppets in our own life. All they got to do is pull a string and you spazzing out. All they got to do is do this and you out of control. And you don't even know why. You just know, oh, I just feel sad. I just feel mad. In order to take the keys back, to take your power back from these people, places, and things, you got to first figure out why the fuck this is happening. What string are they pulling? What trigger are they pulling? What trauma is this uncovering? What story am I telling myself when this trigger and this string is being pulled? This is why I say emotions are messengers. It's not just I feel sad. Why? What's going on? Uncover the information so that string can be cut. You can call your power back to you. People like to throw around being an alchemist and emotional alchemy, and it's all cute and things. It's a messy journey. But to me, it's the most worth it journey. When you're no longer controlled by people reactions, people words, people decisions, people actions again. When you're no longer controlled by what people do, what people say, when they show up, how they show up, when you have firm boundaries, and you have firm boundaries by uncovering what's going on within you. We just create boundaries out of thin air, which is why we can't apply it. Which is why we inconsistent. For me, boundaries is all about my morals and my values. Peace is a part of my morals and my values. I didn't know that at one point. So all I was around is fucking chaos. But I had to uncover. I had to sit with my emotions. I had to process. I had to hold. And then I was able to uncover and learn, okay, this is important to me. This is a boundary. When my emotions showed me that I was full of motherfucking chaos, and I attracted chaos. But one of my true values was peace. I started to learn that, okay, I can't engage, I can't open up, I can't be a part of chaos anymore. My peace started to come. That is a value for me. That is a boundary for me. We can't apply boundaries because we don't even know what they are. We just use the word because it sounds cute. We make up boundaries that we really don't give a fuck about. Your boundary is peace, but one of your core things is you engage in chaos because it feels safe to you. How can you attract peace? And then you say, oh, nobody is listening to my boundaries. Boundaries are not for other people. It's for you. It's the sand in the line. It's for you to know, okay, this is, this don't seem right. But if you are unaware, if you are suppressed, if you are disconnected, if you are tapped out, I don't even expect you to be able to uphold your own boundaries. We having a real conversation. See, radical responsibility is something that I really think is important. Because if you can't be responsible, if you can't be accountable within yourself, then I don't expect people in your life to be accountable. I expect you to attract people that don't even take accountability, they don't take responsibility. Everything is everybody else's fault. Oh, they told me to do that. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, this was that. I don't expect you to have people in your life that don't take responsibility and accountability if you're not the first example. At one point, I had to tell myself the reason why you suffering, the reason why you in pain, the reason why your life is chaotic, because you like that shit. You feel safe in that shit. Because the moment peace creep in, you start looking for things to cause trauma and cause chaos in your life. You start answering the phone for the people that you know is full of chaos. Why are you even answering the phone? You know all they about to do is complain. and dump they shit on you and then leave, and now you trying to figure out, not only are you dealing with your own shit, but you dealing with other people's stuff. But that's also a part of emotional alchemy. Sometimes you will learn that this sadness that I'm feeling, this anger that I'm feeling is not mine. That's also a part of poor spiritual boundaries. We take on other people's energy, other people's problems, other people's pains, and we take it and put it a part of ourselves. So now that anger that you was feeling, not only is it attached to some type of story or trauma that you experienced, but it's also someone else's pain, trauma, and stories that they've been dealing with. So now it feels like it's too much. Nah, that's too much for me to handle. What's yours will never be too much. What's yours to carry would never be too much. Will it be uncomfortable? Yes. Will it be too much? No. Because it's yours. You've been holding it. It's uncomfortable to process. It's uncomfortable to sit through. It's uncomfortable to hold. It's uncomfortable to sit in the mirror and look at you. It's uncomfortable, but it's not too much. It's never too much when it's yours. Sometimes we're trying to process shit that is not our own. We're trying to process pain that is not our pain. We're trying to process stories that is not our stories. 6 stages of emotional alchemy is something that I created, that I learned how to process my own emotions, how to go through the journey of being an alchemist of my own emotions. Because then I was able to step into my own power, my own sovereignty, my own leadership. That is something that I created to be able to keep me accountable and responsible, tapped in, connected, which is why I created it for you to have as well. If you know you are someone that want to step into emotional alchemy, you want to learn how to process your emotions, you want to learn how to step into your own power, you want to learn how to step into your own leadership, how to step into your own sovereignty, how to master yourself. What is the first stage of self-mastery for me is emotional alchemy. You need to be going to the link in my bio, and you need to be pressing that link and getting the 6 stages of emotional alchemy. It's an audio transmission, so it's not something that you need to look at me on a video. You need to sit down. You don't need to do that. You can be driving, you can be taking a walk, you plop it in your ear and you listen to the different stages. So anytime you're experiencing, let's say, anger, you're experiencing sadness, you can turn that on and listen to the different stages that I have learned is the process of learning how to alchemize, how to process your own emotions. This is near and dear to me because it's something that I use every single day. Emotional alchemy is not just a one-time journey. It's something that you constantly have to do because we are constantly being programmed to be crash outs. We are constantly being reminded how to be emotionally ignorant. We're constantly being reminded how we're not supposed to be in our own power. We're constantly being reminded on how to be codependent on our own trauma, on other people. So you have to constantly do the work, constantly process your emotions, constantly be intelligent. Feel your emotions. Figure out the messages that your emotions is telling you. Because if women, as women, if we're going to step into our true power, if we're going to step into our true sovereignty, if we're going to step into our true ownership and remember the soil that we came from, we got to first learn how to stop being so fucking suppressed. You got to learn how to stop being suppressed. Women are our own enemies. Suppression is a big problem. Emotional suppression is a big problem. And I made it my duty to teach and learn and guide and process, because I have seen first row seats what it looked like to see a woman that is emotionally suppressed, full of trauma, and running. It's a life full of suffering. I'm going to leave you with this. The reason why I created 6 stages of emotional alchemy is because I understood that women didn't know what that process looked like. They're like, okay, how do you feel the emotion? What do you do? How do you do it? Right? And to me, it was like, I didn't know how to do it either. At some point, it just became something that I just started to do, started to practice, started to really uncover, started to listen to other people, listen to myself, see other people in their emotional distress. And I started to put 2 and 2 together. For me, I created this because I feel that it's truly important for women to learn how to process our own shit, how to process our own emotions, how to process our own pain so that it won't be used against you. So you won't be a puppet to your own stories, your own trauma, your own triggers, your own pain. This creation, the 6 stages of emotional alchemy, like I said, is something that I use consistently. I process my own emotions. Because I'll be damned if I become a puppet to anybody else and even to myself. So if you feel like this is something that you need, if you feel like, you know what, Lala, I want to learn how to alchemize. I want to learn how to transmute. I want to learn how to be more emotionally in tune. I want to learn how to be emotionally connected to myself. I want to learn how to process, how to hold, how to really feel. That is what 6 stages of emotional alchemy is for. That is exactly what it's for. It's for you. For you to use consistently. It's not something that you buy, keep it in your files, don't listen to it. It's not one of those things. It's something that you use consistently. You can use daily if you're an emotional person like myself. I was going through emotions, but I wasn't listening to it. I wasn't processing it. So it's something that you can use every day, several times a day. And then at some point, you're going to find that the things that you learn become automatic. It becomes automatic. You go through the process and the steps easily, effortlessly. You start to learn how to feel it, how to acknowledge it. You start to learn how to do different things because your body has now known how to process those things with those 6 stages of emotional alchemy. You won't even have to listen to it anymore. Absolutely not. You won't learn how to do that. You will learn how to do that. I'm going to leave this here with you. I want you to sit with it, but I also want you to take action immediately because action is important. It shows you that, hey, I'm worth betting on. I'm worth figuring this out. I'm worth processing. I'm worth this. So go off this video, press the description, get to the link, press the link, get your 6 stages of emotional alchemy. And I'll see you on the other side.